a list of recommended readings for sure on this topic. So maybe in conclusion, we've got a couple of minutes here. What can we today take out of this, and how should we feel about the information we've just received, and how should it affect us today?
Look, Islamophobia is a reality, and it affects all of us. It affects all of us. It affects us politically, educationally. It affects us morally, ethically. It affects us physically, right? So Islamophobia is a reality. It is a well-funded machine, right? It is being systematically promoted, and Islamophobia is becoming the norm. The Western media is making it the norm. So how do we counter narratives that are used by Islamophobic establishments in the West and elsewhere? How we do that is by educating ourselves. Okay, Muslims living in the Western lands in particular, they need to go to university. They need to educate themselves, seek knowledge, educate yourselves, equip yourselves with the history of your civilization so that you can defend it effectively. How can you defend an entity? How can you defend an idea if you don't understand it? If you don't know anything about it? So the first thing is to educate yourselves and get active. Don't just sit idle. Write articles, produce reports, create documentaries, okay? Get active politically, speak to politicians, advise politicians. If you cannot become kings, then become kingmakers, right? Stop blaming the bankers, stop blaming newspapers, stop blaming media moguls, for that matter. Stop blaming them, okay? They are doing what they're doing, okay? We need to see what we can do and where are we failing as a community. We need to have a vision. Most importantly, the Muslims of Canada, you need to have a vision. Where do you want to be in the next 50 years? How many more scholars? How many more intellectuals? How many more leaders do you want to produce in the next 50 years? Okay, if not more. Okay, we need to have a vision. We need to calculate our progress. Where do we want to be in the next 5 years in Canada? Where do we want to be in the next 10 years in the US? Where do we want to be in the next 20, 30 years in Britain? Okay, we are Canadian, American, British citizens. We live in these lands. This is home to us, right? We are here to stay. We are not aliens, right? We are as native, as local as any of the white people or Afro-American people or Afro-Canadian people living in these lands. Because all of these people, they are migrants, if you look at them, right? The white people came to Americas in the 15th century, okay? Or possibly the 16th century and the 17th century. A lot of the settlements that exist in Canada and in America, or even as far as Brazil, these settlements were created by Europeans, people from Spain, people from Germany, people from Ireland, people from Britain. So this is where people came from originally. So we are all, in that sense, immigrants to these lands, right? So we are as good as each other, right? We are, in that sense, we are equal. We are all equal. So don't feel as if we are alien in these lands. We're not. This is home. So what do we do here? What vision do we have for the next 50 years, right? What vision do we have as an ummah, globally speaking, for the next 100 years? Where do we want to be as the Muslim community? And stop blaming the governments. Stop blaming every Tom, Dick, and Harry who comes along. No. Start working on yourselves. Start looking at a vision. Okay, have some leaders who can give you a vision. Okay, if we don't have a vision yet, let's bring people together who are intelligent, who are Ahlul Halli wal Aqd. In the Arabic language, we call them the people of opinions, the people of intellect, the people of ilm, the people of knowledge. And I don't necessarily mean here the knowledge of Islam. Okay, an imam who has studied in a religious seminary may not be able to give you a vision, right? You need an imam, 100%. But there might be someone, a sociologist, a historian, a philosopher, who might have studied the reality of human societies, and he or she may be able to give you a vision for the future, and the Imams can confirm it. The Imams can rubber stamp it that this is an Islamic vision, this is a good vision, we must pursue it. Positive contribution. We represent a civilization that lives to this day. We represent a great civilization. For that reason, we need to revive it. We need to show that we are far from being extremists or misogynistic or being a backward people. We are torch bearers of a civilization that enlightened the world for over 1,000 years. This is not a joke. We stand on the shoulders of giants, literally. We stand on the shoulders of giants. We just need to wake up to it. And we need to produce those thinkers and philosophers and leaders who can give us a vision. My brothers and sisters, my advice is to start working on a vision for the lands you live in. Where do you want to be in the next 50 to 100 years is the question, right? And once we have a vision, and the vision will come from your intellectuals, your thinkers, your philosophers, right? Your leaders, for that matter. So find those leaders, get them together, bring them on one table, and let them brainstorm. Where are the Muslims going wrong? Where are we weak? And how can we strengthen ourselves? And history is one field that can open doors for you. Okay, there are many other fields we need to focus on. And if everyone becomes an accountant, if everyone becomes an MBBS doctor, if everyone wants to become a lawyer, who is going to lead us? Who is going to guide us? Who's going to advise us on sociological, anthropological, historical, theological, ideological issues? We need leadership. I've said many, many things, and I hope I had given some glimpses of my mind or into my mind to brothers and sisters out there. So hopefully we can get together and find a vision. And let's start with educating ourselves. Education is number one. Education. Don't sit around and lose this opportunity to educate yourselves. Wherever you are, whatever land you live in, educate yourselves. Educate yourselves on your civilization, your values, and your ethics, and what we have done for the world. Once we know what we have done, it can be repeated again. We can once again become beacons of light for the rest of humanity. And once we do that, Islamophobia will be, it will disappear. It will go away. People will not have any reasons to hate you or misunderstand you or dislike you. They will see that you are the best poets, you are the best philosophers, you're the best thinkers, you're the best doctors, you're the best leaders. You are the most morally upright people. كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله. This is where I end.
Jazakallah khair, brother. It's really conviction, knowledge, and action.